Let's take a look at question number 3. This one says, what is the most effective revision to make in sentence 15? Most effective revision, and we're going to look at sentence 15. Okay, here comes your next set of tips and tricks. Yay! Here we go. All right, take a look at this. We'll also show you the notes from before, in case you didn't finish copying that down. Okay, so for most effective revision questions, here are your tips and tricks. We got 3 of them. Number 1, circle, underline, or highlight, whatever floats your boat, the errors or awkward sounding parts in the original sentence before you look at the answer choices. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the sentence they're asking us to revise first, and we're going to see if we can figure out which parts sound a little weird. Notice how I didn't say we need to go into that sentence and we need to fix it on our own. No, I know we don't know all the grammar rules. Sometimes we just know something doesn't sound right, and that's literally all you'll need. If you can at least figure out which part sounds weird, you got it made in the shade. All right. Tip number 2. Here's a guessing tip. Yes, you got that right. It's a guessing tip. I know it happens sometimes. We're sleepy, we stayed up late the day before, we fall asleep for 3 hours during the test, you wake up and you're like, oh snap, I gotta finish this test. So if you're one of those students and you're going to guess on a most effective revision question, here's your tip. If you plan or need to guess on a most effective revision question, choose the shortest answer. 99.9% of the time, just like the antibacterial germix that kills 99.9% of germs, 99.9% of the time, your answer will be the shortest one. So if you're going to guess, at least you should have a strategy when you guess. You're most likely to get it right if you can guess with the shortest answer. Okay? Tip number 3, circle, underline, highlight anything that is added to the answer choice. And I should add here, even if it's just one word. Okay? Even if it's just one word, make a note of it. Because in STAAR, when they revise things, when they want something revised, they want it less wordy. They don't want it to be more wordy. So if they add words, it's likely that that's not going to be your answer. So even if they add one word, that's a reason to not consider it. Okay? So let's go ahead and see what this looks like. Okay? Okay. So before we go into the text, really quick, I want us to see. We're going to test out this theory really quick. So if we were to choose based off of tip number 2, says how it says, if we plan to guess, choose the shortest answer. Just by looking at these, the shortest answer here is letter B. You can see that it's noticeably smaller than the rest, shorter. So I'm just going to put a little star here, just so we have that note there, that B is most likely going to be my answer. Okay? Now, let's go into the original sentence. We haven't read them yet. We're looking at sentence 15. Let's see down here. Zoom in. Oh, okay. It says, a misstep by just one student creates a flaw in the perfectly coordinated display that is visible. That just bothered me. Okay. So, I'm going to read it again. A misstep by just one student creates a flaw in the perfectly coordinated display that is visible. So for me, I'm not going to try to fix it or be all grammar Nazi on it or whatever. All I'm going to do is be like, which part sounds weird? Which part sounds off, a little awkward? So for me, I think the part that kind of threw off the fluency, threw off the flow, was this phrase at the end that is visible. I don't know, it just sounded weird to me. I didn't really like it. So if I see that there's an answer choice that keeps that the same, the weird part the same, it's probably not going to be my answer as well. Okay? So, what we need to make sure we read the original sentence, because we need to compare our answers to this one. We need to check if they added words or took away words as compared to here. So when we are looking at our answer choices over here, we're going to make a note of any change that was made. Remember, circle, underline, or highlight the changes that were made in the answer choices. So here we go. It says a misstep. Letter A says a misstep by just one student and a flaw is created that is visible in the perfectly coordinated display. Okay, so I noticed that they added a word. It's a small word. So I told you, even if it's just one word, such an insignificant word, but they added it. And they added the and there. This is an added word. I also noticed that they moved that is visible. It's not at the end anymore. They moved it in front of this phrase. Okay? Okay. Let's take a look at answer choice B. A misstep by just one student creates a visible flaw in the perfectly coordinated display. Okay, so I notice here that now it's not that is visible. Now it's a visible flaw, right? They made it shorter. I think it does flow a bit better. It sounds a lot better than the first one, that's for sure. Okay, answer choice C. A misstep by just one student creates a flaw in the perfectly coordinated display. The flaw is visible. Beware of the doubles. You notice here, they repeated flaw, and they added the flaw right there. Flaw. So you can choose, I don't know which one you want to put to add, because there's just an additional flaw. I'm going to put this whole phrase here was added. The flaw. But it's doubled up. They repeated it. So because of that, I can eliminate C. See that? Beware of the doubles in the answer choices when they add those. But that's what I'm saying. If you can identify where the changes are made, it'll be a lot easier. Letter D. A misstep by just one student creates a visible flaw that can be seen in the perfectly coordinated display. Okay, here, they did something similar to answer choice B, and honestly, the answer choice, it flows pretty good. You know, it has a better flow than A and C, that's for sure, right? But they added this phrase here that can be seen. They added this whole phrase there that can be seen. I want you to see what they did here. When we think about it, what does visible mean? Visible basically means that something can be seen, right? What does that can be seen mean? That something is visible. So what they did here is they gave you a double in a way that would be disguised a little more, that could trick students. So they doubled up here the visibles. So they're saying a misstep by just one student creates a flaw that can be seen, Or a misstep by just one student creates a visible flaw that is visible. That's basically what they did. So it's not D for sure. So now we're stuck between choosing between A and B. Now, the one that had the best flow and that had the least amount of added stuff to it was B. And that is the one that flows the best. It was the best answer. All right. You see that?